All right, this is our last section in Unit 16, and it is on the quadratic formula. This formula can be used to solve any of the types of quadratic functions that we've been doing so far. So I've showed you multiple ways to solve. We've done factoring, we've done square roots, we have done, what else do we do? Completing the square. Those all work, but they work for different types of quadratic formulas and how they're set up and what the numbers are involved with them. This formula works with any type of quadratic equation. So if this is the one thing that you remember out of here, you'll be able to solve all of the quadratic formulas or quadratic equations and find their zeros. Remember, those are where they cross the x-axis at when we graph. So it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. So remember, a quadratic function is ax squared plus bx plus c. So a is always in front of the x squared, b is in front of x, and c is the constant by itself. So we want to solve all of these for 0 before we actually plug them into the quadratic formula. So for example, 1 here, it equals 0, so that's good. We don't need to change anything. We need to identify our a, b, and c. So this is a, this would be b, and this is c. And then we can plug them in. So it's negative b. B is 3 right now, so that's going to be a negative 3 plus or minus square root. B squared would be 3 squared minus 4 times a is 2 times c is negative 5, all divided by 2 times a, which is 2 again. So then we can simplify this down. So we're going to have negative 3 plus or minus inside of the or under the radical sign, not inside the parentheses. 3 squared is 9. And then we have 4 times 2 times 5. So that would be 8 times 5. That's 40. We had a negative 4 times a negative 5. That makes a positive. So that's plus 40. That would be 49. So the square root of 49 is 7. And then at the bottom, we have 2 times 2, which is 4. So that simplifies and condenses down pretty quickly. And then we do, from there, we break it up into 2 equations. We have 3 plus 7 over 4, and we have negative 3 minus 7 over 4. And then you simplify these. Negative 3 plus 7 is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And then negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10. Negative 10 over 4 reduces to negative 5 over 2. So 1 and negative 5 halves is our answer. All right, for our next one, it is not equal to 0, so I need to subtract 2x from both sides. So I will be left with 0 equals, and I'm going to put them in order, x squared minus 2x minus 4. So a is in front of x squared, which is, there isn't a number there, so it's really a 1, and then negative 2 and negative 4. So negative b plus or minus, so here's our formula that we're going to have to look at. So it's negative b first. Our b is already negative here, so that would turn positive. So we want positive 2, and then plus or minus b squared, so negative 2 squared. So keep in mind, you have to be careful. Negative 2 squared is still a positive 4, so don't get in the negative trap and get your answer wrong. And then minus 4 times a is 1 and c is negative 4, all over 2 times 1. So when I simplify this, I'm going to have 2 plus or minus. Negative 2 squared would be 4, and negative 4 times 1 times negative 4 would be a positive 16. So 4 plus 16 is 20, and we can't do anything with that. So 2 plus or minus the square root of 20 all over 2. Now we need to break these apart, and we need to simplify the square root. It's not a perfect square, but I can break it down 5 times 4, and 4 is a perfect square, so that would go out front. So I would have 2 plus or minus 2 square roots of 5 over 2. So if I break that down, 2 plus 2 square roots of 5 over 2. We have 2 over 2 here, which is 1, and 2 over 2 here, which is also 1. So that would be 1 plus 1 square root of 5. So we would just write square root of 5 like that. We don't need to put the 1 out front of it. And then we need the subtraction one, 2 minus 2 square roots of 5 over 2. And we have this, which would be a 1, and this, which would be a 1. So we have 1 minus 1 square root of 5. So again, just square root of 5. So notice they're the same except for that plus and minus sign. So we can combine these two answers. So 1 plus or minus square root of 5. Those would be the two zeros in that equation. Now we move on to the discriminant. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So it's the part that's underneath of the radical sign in the quadratic formula. And this piece of the formula is used to find out how many solutions the equation has. So if you plug in the numbers to that and you get a number that's greater than 0, you're going to have 2 solutions. If you get a number that's less than 0, there is no solution. And if you get exactly 0, there is 1 solution. So for example 3, we're going to have 3 different equations here, and we're going to be asked to figure out how many solutions they have. So remember, it's b squared minus 4ac. So b here is negative 4. So negative 4 squared minus 4 times a is 1, and c is 3. So negative 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 3 would be negative 12. So 16 minus 12 is 4. That number is greater than 0. So this says 2 solutions. So the answer is this has 2 solutions. Now this one, b squared minus 4ac. b is 2. So 2 squared minus 4 times a is 1. And c is 1. So 2 squared is 4 minus 4 times 1 would be 4. So 4 minus 4 is 0. So when you get a 0, it says exactly equal to 0 is 1 solution. Oops. So this one has 1 solution. So this means this parabola sits on the x-axis. And then our last one here, we have to do b squared minus 4ac. b is negative 2 minus 4 times 1 times 2. So negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. So 4 minus 8 is negative 4. So that is less than 0. So this means there are no solutions. This means the parabola does not cross the x-axis.